Here we are in Chapter 2 review exercises, numbers 1 through 11, with the solutions. We're supposed to solve the following equations. That means we're going to be using that process where we simplify it as much as we can and then get x by itself. This is already simplified, so subtract 9, and we get x equals 17 minus 9 is 8. X equals 8. The next one. 7 plus 3t equals 27. There are no fractions, no parentheses, no multiple t's, so we subtract 7, and we get 3t equals 20. Divide by 3, and we get t equals 20 thirds. All right, number 3. Negative 2y plus 5 equals negative 17. Again, we have no parentheses, no fractions, no multiple y's, so we're down to subtract 5 from both sides. We have negative 2y equals a negative 22. Divide by a negative 2 and we get y equals 11. Excellent. Number 4, we do have parentheses and multiple x's, so we got to simplify that first. So this will be 6x minus 48 minus x equals 5x minus 4. Put the x's together, we get 5x minus 48 equals 5x minus 4. Now we have to get those x's together. And we think, okay, which one of them do we want to get rid of? And, well, it doesn't matter. We subtract 5x, get rid of that one, and it also gets rid of this one. They completely cancel out to 0, and we get negative 48 equals a negative 4. That stops you dead in your tracks. You say, that is not true. There is no solution. Number 5. 6, we've got parentheses and multiple x's again, so we're going to jump this minus 3 in. Remember, that's a minus 3, so it's 6x minus 3x plus 9. Negative times negative is a positive, equals 4x plus 7. Combine everything on the left-hand side, and we get 3x plus 9 equals 4x plus 7. Let's get rid of one of those x's, whichever one you want. Subtract the 3x from both sides. You could have subtracted 4x from both sides, and we get 9 equals x plus 7. Subtract the 7 from both sides, and we get x equals 2. Excellent. Now, number 6. We need to, what do we need to do on that one? There are no parentheses, no fractions, but there are multiple x's. Let's combine all the x's on this side. We get 5x minus 7x is negative 2x plus x is just an x. 2x plus 8x is 10x. We still need to combine and get the x's together before we can add or subtract to get things. So let's subtract x from both sides, and we get 0 equals 9x. That's important to leave that 0 there, so we can divide by 9, and we get x equals a 0. And on each one of these, you can plug them back in and see that they actually work. They are indeed true. All right, number 7. Do we have any parentheses? No. Do we have any fractions? Yes. So we need to times through by the least common denominator, which is 20. So times by 20, times by 20, times by 20. 2/5 times 20 is going to be 8x. In slow motion, that is 20 times 2 is 40, divided by 5 is 8, or 20 divided by 5 is a 4 times 2 is 8, equals 20 times 6, that's 120x, minus 5/4, that's a minus 25. You can do that with your calculator. 5/4 times 20. 5 times 20 is 100, divided by 4 is 25, or 20 divided by 4 is 5, times 5 is 25. Let's get the x's together. Subtract 120x from both sides, and we get negative 112x equals negative 25. Divide by negative 112, and the negatives cancel. So that's going to be, oh, and those are gone. So x equals 25 over 112. Can that simplify at all? I don't think so. I don't see anything coming out of there. Just 5's up in here, and 112 is like 2's and a 7. All right. I think that's it. Number 8. Oh, we've got parentheses and fractions and multiple x's. This is like the worst kind of problem that could ever be given. So let's jump that guy in. we have 5/3 x minus 7/2 x plus 21/2 equals 1/4 x plus 3. Ooh, what's the least common denominator between 3's and 2's? That'd be a 6, but 3's and 4's? That'd be a 12. So we have to times by 12, times by 12, times by 12, times by 12, times by 12. And let's see what happens. 12 times 5/3, that's 20x, right? 12 times 5 is 60, divided by 3 is 20. 12 divided by 2 is 6, times 7 is 42, so minus 42x. 12 divided by 2 is 6, times 21 is 126, equals 12 times 1/4 is 3x plus 36. Woo! All right, let's combine all the x's together over here. That's minus 22x plus 126 equals 3x plus 36. We got to get rid of one of these x's, so let's add 22x to both sides. If we put that right there, add 22x, add 22x, we got 25x equals, subtract 36 over here, and we get 90. Is that right? So far, so good. Then divide by 25. And we get x equals 90 over 25. Let me see, a 5 can come out of both of that. That's 18 over 5. Or what would that be? 3.6, something like that. Good. All right, number 9. Ooh, we've got fractions here. Let's get rid of the fractions. Times by 10, times by 10. And notice what happens here. The 10 divided by the 5 gives you a 2. But notice that it creates parentheses. 2 has to time that whole top. So at 12x plus 6 equals 10 divided by 2 is a 5. 5 times 5x is 25x minus 5. Oh, there we go. And you'll see that 2 ended up here and the 5 ended up here. Cross multiplication, that's where it comes from. All right, so subtract 12x from both sides. Minus 12x from both sides, and we have 6 equals 13x minus 5. Add 5 to both sides, and we get 13x equals 11. Divide by 13, divide by 13, and we get x equals 11/13. No simplification going on there. All right, and number 10. Now we're solving for the specified variable. So it'll change. Here we've got to get m by itself. Do we have any fractions, parentheses, or multiple m's? No. So we're down to just, let's get everything we can by addition subtraction off. So we're going to subtract 3p from both sides and subtract q from both sides. And the m is now left by itself. That was a nice one. All right, number 11. Ooh, we do have a fraction. We're trying to get g by itself. He's right in there. So first of all, let's get rid of any fractions. Times by p on both sides. So we now have 3s minus 7g. Oh, that was a q. G equals c times p. All right, we don't have any multiple g's. So we can just subtract 3s from both sides. Subtract 3s from both sides, we get negative 7g equals cp minus 3s. All right, and now divide by a negative 7. Divide by a negative 7, and we get g equals cp minus 3s over negative 7. We should also note that dividing by this negative sign could go out in front, or it could go up on the top, which means if it was over a positive 7 and the negative were on the top, it would make it a positive 3s and a negative cp. So it could be written like that, and that's the exact same thing. That's kind of hard to see at first, but those are the exact same answer. Excellent.